What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mile High Hockey. Mike and Will with you as always. Although I wasn't here on Tuesday under the weather. Mike, I appreciate you filling in. And I know you told the audience upper body. That's all you would tell them.
Yeah.
I have since described the upper body to you. And I'll just throw it out there. Would you agree that strep throat is upper body?
Yes, absolutely. But I was not going to throw you under the bus. I'm staying loyal to the hockey code, especially in the playoffs. No transparency. We don't give anything away, right down to Chris MacFarland saying, yeah, all this talk about how great Gabe Landeskog looks, we'll see. We'll see. We're still evaluating new data coming in every day. Classic hockey mentality this time of year.
Yeah, Jared Bednar did not want to confirm if Gabe Landeskog will be out there for game one. Chris MacFarland, same thing yesterday. He even said, I'm not telling you about Parker Kelly or Gabe Landeskog. Like, I'm sure Parker Kelly's going, what do I do to get grouped into that one?
Yeah, why am I catching strays?
Do you like the secrecy of this? Is this gamesmanship? Do they truly not know? Might he not play game one, but play game three, as we've seen some reports out there from our friend Adrian Dater? Like, what is this all about? This we can't confirm if Gabe's going to play game one type attitude.
Yeah, I'm taking my cue from what I heard from Nathan MacKinnon the other day. And boy, MacKinnon was talking in a way where hockey player to hockey player, he felt like Gabe looked like he was ready to go. And MacKinnon's not one that's known for, hyperbole, right? So when he says something like that, just like when he says something like, I feel like this is the best team we've had since we won it a couple years ago, I sit up a little straighter and pay attention to that. So to me, I feel like it's more like the Avalanche employing gamesmanship here. Just the idea, give Dallas something else to think about. To me, I think he's ready. So if this report is that they're thinking about bringing him back for game three, why? Like, if he's one of your top 12 forwards today, you're telling me that if he's not one of your top 12 forwards today, that in 4 days from now he will be? I mean, I don't buy that. And also the idea of, well, we'd like to bring him back for game three because of the emotional boost. Well, two things wrong with that. One, yeah, the emotional boost is awesome, and the roof will be blown off when he comes out on the ice in front of the Ball Arena crowd. But guess what's going to happen? A hockey game's going to break out, and then it's just going to be a hockey game. And so that emotional, I think people think that that emotional surge is going to carry out throughout the entire game. It's not. You still got to go out there and play a hockey game. So the other part of that too, Will, is that, well, you're telling me you're holding on for game three to get that boost. Well, what about the first two games? What are you telling me about the importance of the first two games? If you come back 1-1 or heaven forbid down 2-0, what have you accomplished if you felt that Gabe could have played in those first two games?
It's a great point. This isn't, just some feel-good story. This is about winning a series against a really competitive team. And if Landeskog's one of your 12 best forwards, as you said, then he should be on the ice round one, game one. I was in Loveland on Friday, Mike, and he was clearly the best player on the ice as it went on. Doesn't mean he was the fastest, the most explosive, but he looked the most skilled. You could certainly tell he was an NHL captain, not an AHL guy. Right. And then on Saturday night, he gets the goal. He's practiced the last couple of days. I understand why Bednar and MacFarland are doing what they're doing, but it would have just been nice to put it to bed. Like, yeah, Gabe's good to go. We're excited to see him out there. That's probably never going to happen because it's hockey. But I do think it may have taken the focus off of Gabe a little bit and more onto an absolutely excellent matchup and the Stars battling with injuries and Mikko Rantanen. But it feels like all anyone's wanted to talk about for the last 3 weeks is Gabe. The GM and head coach could have put that to bed a little bit, not all the way, but just a little bit. But they almost added fuel to the fire with this secrecy of if he's playing, if he's not.
The other, I thought, interesting thing that came out of the MacFarland press conference was he talked at length and was asked at length about Val Nichushkin. If I could ask you a question, how much in the build-up to this series and coming down the stretch and get ready for the playoffs, have you been thinking a lot about, it's playoff time. What does this mean for Val? Because I'll be honest with you, I really haven't thought about it that much.
You know what's interesting is neither have I, because here's the thing. I know it's happened in the playoffs each of the last 2 years. I get it. But anyone who struggles with addiction, it can happen at any time. So I don't think the calendar necessarily influences that. Now, maybe in the sense of there's more pressure, you're more stressed out, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But I'm not holding my breath it's going to happen a third time in a row. I'm not saying it couldn't, but we're all rooting for Val. We know that. But it just doesn't feel to me like it could have happened game 63 if it was going to happen. I don't understand this notion of like, well, can he get through the playoffs? Like, guys, he's battling every day with this, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed that, he does. But I don't know. It's tricky because it's obviously tough. I don't know why the triggers would happen now. Maybe that's something that someone in a professional in the field would be more educated than I would on it. But it's not something that is on my mind. Let's put it that way, Mike. And I'm very hopeful. It's something that, we obviously don't have to address the next couple of months.
Yeah, I look at it also. A couple things that I guess make me think less of it is that he has no more of a safety net. I mean, even as he's been going through all this, there's always been kind of a safety net, right? The NHL player assistance program is basically 4 strikes and you're out. He also had the understanding that he had term and big money left on his contract that was guaranteed. You screw up one more time, all that's gone. Okay. You're out of strikes. Your contract could be voided. You're done. You're out. So I think the understanding of that, coupled with, honestly, law of averages. I mean, the idea this is going to happen 3 straight years in the playoffs, I'll roll the dice on that.
Yeah, hopefully we're just talking about Valerian and Chushkin being awesome on the ice and not much more than that. All right, game 1 coming on Saturday. We did learn that last night. It'll be 6:30 Mountain Time, 7:30 Dallas time. Don't have the full schedule because, the NHL knows the matchups, but they still can't give us a schedule. That's ridiculous. But we do know game 1 Saturday. And, Mike, it sounds like the Stars are dealing with a lot of injuries. They lost 7 in a row to end the regular season. We all know what the Avs did when they won the Cup in 22. I believe they finished something like 1-5-1. But does feel like momentum, specifically with the injuries to Dallas, is on Colorado's side.
Yeah. Well, just a week ago, I felt that this was a 50-50 series. Now, I think it's 70-30 Avs. I think things are lining up nicely for them. Things are breaking their way. You got Miro Heiskanen, he's not going to play in this series. And if he does, it's because the Stars are in desperate straits and they have no choice. And also now losing Robertson like they did in a meaningless regular season game. Let's put this in terms that Avalanche fans can understand, okay? This would be, in my opinion, the equivalent of the Avs losing Val and Devon Toews for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I'd ask you, as an Avalanche fan, if you were going up against a complete Dallas team, a fully loaded Dallas team ready to go, and you didn't have Val and Devon Toews, how would you feel about your chances as an Avs fan? Not good.
No, so I feel like when we played the Kraken 2 years ago, who weren't that good, but you didn't have Val, and you still lost that series in 7
So if I'm a Dallas fan right now, and I'm looking at the very strong likelihood you're not going to have these guys for at least the first part of the series, and I look over at an Avalanche team that is complete, I'm worried if I'm a Dallas fan. There's just no two ways around it. I'm worried if I'm a Dallas Stars fan. So I think what was once a 50-50 series, I feel is now really strongly tilted in the favor of the Avs. And you know what? I am not one of those, hey, if I'm going to be the best, I want to beat the best. Heck with that. I'm all about the path of least resistance. And if it means that Dallas is going to be without a couple of key guys, and that gives the Avs a much better chance of winning, sign me up.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, no one at the parade is going to be like, well, we didn't beat the best because Jason Robertson couldn't play. We'd rather just be at a parade. All right, game 1 Saturday night. Mike and I will be back on Tuesday. I don't know. Will we have 1 game to react to? Will we have 2 games to react to? The NHL, still no schedule yet. Probably get it late Thursday night. And then the real fun can begin. But here we go. Playoffs. We've been waiting for them all year. Can't wait to talk about it with you on Tuesday on Mile High Hockey.